Over to this story now. The Road Traffic Infringement Agency is ready to implement the new AARTO system. The recent Constitutional Court ruling has now paved a way for full implementation across the country after OUTA challenged its constitutionality. The AARTO system will use a demerit point system to penalize drivers and operators found guilty of traffic infringements. Spokesperson Monde Mkalipi joins us in studio to explain how this will work and the time frame of the rollout. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I think now that the Constitutional Court has declared it legal, many are wondering how exactly the full rollout of AARTO will look like. We have seen pilot projects in this province as an example, but a national scale rollout, what is that set to look like?
Yes, thank you, Rifua, once again. From the side of the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, we should say, we really welcome the pronouncement by the ConCourt. And it really proving the point that AARTO is nothing else but a vehicle to change the behavior of the road users. As we speak now, the country has got a high number of fatalities that occur on our roads, more than 12,000 that are estimated every year. And now, where we are in terms of the rollout after the pronouncement by the ConCourt, we are bringing our stakeholders together again to say, let us have a look at the AARTO Master Implementation Plan. Initially, we were looking at a phased rollout of AARTO. We're going to discuss if perhaps we need to go that route, or we need to go have a once-off arrangement where we're saying this program must be rolled out in the country right from the one day at a particular point. But in terms of saying what is it that really needs to be done right now, we need to make sure that the groundwork is done in terms of ensuring that we're able to train the relevant officers so that when they implement AARTO, they understand exactly what it is all about. And secondly, we're also intending to set up AARTO service outlets throughout the country so that people can be able to access AARTO. So that is all part of the ground that we need to cultivate prior to the actual rollout of AARTO. And more perhaps importantly, we're talking about ensuring that the road users are fully informed and educated about AARTO. Currently, there are estimated 13 million registered motorists in South Africa. So our intensive public education program needs to make sure that it reaches out to all those road users. So that is where we are now. We're going to reconvene our stakeholders. We're going to regroup and say, how do we move forward? As you have rightly pointed out, we have piloted the program in the two jurisdictions, or the two cities, that is in Tshwane and in Joburg. What lessons have we learned out of that, which are actually informing us to say, let us roll out the program to the whole country. We have done a lot of public education around AARTO, and we have also been consulting with a number of other stakeholders in the whole country. And also we're looking at ensuring that they are all the municipalities are well equipped in terms of connectivity to the natives, so that if we are rolling out in Gqeberha, we are rolling out in Cape Town, we are rolling out in Musina, all those municipalities, they are connected to the National Contravention Register. And we have also rightly pointed out in the two cities where we implemented the program, we have been able, for example, to get road users to understand the benefits of AARTO, because AARTO entails a lot. There are a lot of benefits that road users are deriving from it in terms of the 50% discount that they receive when they pay within the first 32 days, and they can even dispute the infringements that are issued against them by perhaps traffic officers. As we'll recall that before, we had a regime where it was, if you commit an infringement on the road, it was like you are guilty as fined type of a setup. You are issued with a ticket, and then you must go and pay. But with AARTO, you are able to advance reasons to say, well, I am disputing this particular infringement because of these particular circumstances. And again, you can even come in and maybe pay in installments if perhaps you are unable to afford the amount that has been meted against you.
I mean, I don't want you to give us an entire lesson of how the system will work, but just a basic understanding of this demerit system that will be implemented. How many points are road users going to be allocated? What happens should you get demerits against your name? And this whole suspension and having licenses taken away from them. I think those are some of the major concerns that people want to understand from the onset.
Yes, Rifu, I think from the beginning, I think we need to clarify that this point that road users who are complying with traffic laws, those should really not be afraid of the points demerit system. Because as we speak now, as South Africans, we are all at naught, we are at all zero. When the system commences, it's only then those infringers will begin to accumulate demerit points, because it depends on the severity. That is the point that are located. It depends on the severity of an infringement. If, for example, you are driving a license that is, a vehicle that does not have a license disc or an expired disc, you might get perhaps 4 demerit points. But if you are caught driving under the influence of alcohol and perhaps you are found guilty in the court of law, and then demerit points, maybe there will be 6 demerit points. So where we are now, we are saying, we are proposing that, or the proposals that are coming from South Africans, that there should perhaps be a threshold of 15 demerit points. So we all start at 0. An infringer commits an infringement, then there are 4 demerit points or 5 demerit points. If there are 5, for example, and then it was an infringement that what honestly happened by mistake, you agree to it, and then you are allocated those 5 demerit points. You drive well a period of 3 months after those demerit points have been allocated to you, they get to be decreased by every month that you drive well on the road. But if they happen to grow and reach 15, once they reach 15, and then the driving license gets to be suspended. And then perhaps to drive well for another period of, well, it gets to be suspended, and then you are not driving, and then you are kept out of the road for a period of 3 months. And then you are allowed to come back after that suspension of 3 months. And then let's say you drive well for a period of 3 months again, then your demerit points get to be reduced. But if you reach that 15 threshold again, and then your license is going to be suspended. If it gets to be suspended for the 3rd time, and then the state takes away your driving license, because it's regarded as an asset that belongs to the state. It gets to be taken away, you don't have a driving license. The expectation now in terms of the system is that you need to go back and get a learner's license. And the legislation and even the regulations are proposing that there needs to be a rehabilitation program, because if you are a driver who reaches 15 demerit points more than 3 times, it means you are posing danger to other road users. You need to be informed and educated why it's important for you to drive well on the road. What sort of perhaps damage or danger that you can do to other road users on the road.
So, I mean, the implementation you've just described to our viewers now, is that global best practice, and has it been proven to show that driver behavior does improve with a system like this AARTO that will be coming into effect?
Yes, yes. We have been to a number of countries. I know we understand, for example, it is there in countries such as Australia, and it is proving to be working. And we can safely indicate that even in South Africa, it is really going to work, because even with the current situation that we have now in terms of the adjudication that is happening, because we have a situation where you are given you are issued with a traffic fine, and then for a period of 32 days, if perhaps you fail to resolve that particular ticket, you receive a courtesy letter from the RTIA. And then if you again fail to resolve that ticket, and then there comes an enforcement order stage where you are blocked from accessing any of your files that are on the iNaTIS. So globally, AARTO has proven to be a deterrent, and we strongly believe, even here in South Africa, if we apply it, it is going to work in terms of reducing fatalities that occur on our roads.
We have run out of time, but I have to ask you time frames. What are we looking at here in terms of the national implementation of the system?
In terms of the national rollout, we are going to meet with our stakeholders once again. Still remember, in 2021, we unveiled a program where we were looking at a 2-year rollout. Even now, we are going to look into that, where we are going to say, because our cycle needs to fit with that of the municipalities, which begins at June, July. Now we are in July. It means now for the next 12 months, we'll be interacting with municipalities, but there is another critical element that is also needs to come in. The president needs to proclaim the implementation of this particular legislation. So our colleagues in the department are also interfacing with the presidency so that the proclamation is received to get the date, and then perhaps in June, July 2024, we're going to have the program starting in the country.
And hopefully people will try their best to keep their demerit points as low as possible, perhaps even at 0. Thank you very much for joining us in studio there. That is Monde Mkalipi, who's the spokesperson for the Road Traffic Infringement Agency.